Hey, it's louisity again, and for this video, I'm gonna be doing the Filipino heroine tag. Hoorah! So, I was tagged by Salve from Kumu Books. Now, this tag was originally created by the Cape, and I'll be linking their videos down below. So, I was thinking like this is a perfect video in celebration of National Heroes Day, which is going to be like the last Monday of August. So, let's begin! For this prompt, I chose Stormy, written by Heroine. Now, for those of you who have read, the Shatter Me series, especially like the latter books, by that I mean the books right after Ignite Me, y'all know that Juliet becomes the leader of the, or becomes a supreme commander of re-establishment in North America. So in the North America region, she's like the leader, the representative for, or like something like that, if you'd like to call it, in the re-establishment, just like, government faction, if I get it correctly here, in the Shatter Me series. And for some of you, I think, you're not exactly gonna like Juliet as a leader or even as a character, but technically, she's the supreme commander of re-establishment North America. So this book and Juliet counts. So, wow. For this prompt, I chose Star from The Hate You Give. Now, for those of you folks who have read this book, y'all know that towards the end, Star decided to join different protests in support of, black people, of course. And yeah, I would have to go with Star, and I really enjoyed the narrative of The Hate You Give. Such a beautiful book. This one is a recent reread, and I'm talking about Toxicology, written by Jessica Hagedorn. Now, for folks that are looking for books written by Filipino authors, wherever they're based, whether they're in the Philippines or another country or territory, this one's for you. Jessica Hagedorn is a Filipino author who I think grew up in the United States. She moved to different places, I believe. And the reason why I'm picking this one for this prompt is because it has a character who is a literary figure, Eleanor. Just to share some more thoughts about this, just a little bit, Eleanor thinks weirdly, and you would understand what I mean if you read this book, especially towards like the latter part. Yeah, there's like an interesting interview here. The book that I'm choosing for this prompt would have to be Kaleidoscope, written by Danielle. Now, there's a lot of events that happen throughout the story, throughout the family involved, throughout the sisters that were involved, because they were the, technically the survivors. And yeah, it was really tough, reading this story and reading especially their stories. But I think most of all, among the three sisters, Hillary's was the one that's really, the hardest. She has gone through a lot of emotional turmoil, and there was even harm that was done to her. So, a little warning for y'all. But yeah, it's a beautiful story. It's captivating. You can definitely immerse yourself in the narrative in a way that, their situations were addressed, were written in a cohesive way, that it was clear and will give you a vivid picture, which would sadden you. But I think if you're looking for a vivid imagery of a sad story, tragedy, turmoil, struggles, I recommend this book by Danielle. Danielle writes a lot of stories about families that are just amazing, Of course, for this prompt, I'm going to choose one of my favorite series of all time, That would be Crazy Rich Asians, written by Kevin Kwan. Now I'm showing you Rich People Problems because if y'all have been watching videos on my channel since like ever, y'all know that Rich People Problems is like my top book in the series. I gave this like a perfect 5 out of 5 because you don't know how this book is going to take you. It's like it will just lead you to different surprises. Like in my reading experience, I thought like I knew it all along, but no, of course, you know, like I said, it led me to different places that I never thought like it would, if you know what I mean by being led to different places, like kind of like transported to different like narratives and all that. And you know, aside from of course the young family, which by the way, the rich person here that I'm, you know, thinking about is Astrid. Of course, you know, the Young family, Nicholas Young's family. And if you read the other books in the series, there is someone else, you know, in this book who is China rich. I immediately thought of Jamie from A Walk to Remember. Now, some of you folks already have read the book or even saw the movie starring Mandy Moore. And Jamie Sullivan is like the typical sweet girl, conservative girl, prim and proper, somebody who holds, you know, her Bible almost all the time, if not all the time. So when I thought about like the typical feminine character, I think she passes, you know, for this prompt. And you'll know why she is carrying the Bible if you read the book, if ever that you're just like kind of like curious. So I don't know if, I don't really remember it being kind of like addressed in the movie, but yeah, something to share for you folks. I'm gonna go with America's Not the Heart, written by Elaine Castillo. Now, okay, one more time. Here's a book written by a Filipino author, so if you folks are looking for one, this one, America's Not the Heart, Elaine Castillo is a Filipino. I'm Filipino, living in one of the islands here in the Philippines. By the way, we have like about 7,000 plus islands. Okay, some trivia for y'all. Now, the reason why I chose this book is that the main character, Hero, or if she kind of is a main character the way that the synopsis was written, but there was another like Heroine that kind of like also is known and kind of like took the narrative, if that's what you would like to call it. But yeah, going back to Hero, she's a nurse, so she qualifies for this one. I have another Danielle Steele book, and that would be Wings by Danielle Steele. Now, the character here, the main character, Cassie, she is an aspiring pilot, and I think that she really fought for, you know, women's rights in the aviation industry. Even her family, her dad was like not encouraging her to be a part of it, not exactly supportive, but she didn't hold back. She, you know, created space for women in the aviation industry. And as far as I know, there is some sort of a parallelism to Amelia Earhart in this one. And yeah, it is a very lovely story. I recommend you to read it. It talks about, you know, women's rights, women's ambitions, how, you know, regardless of who you are, if you are determined to take space, you're gonna get it. You know, I love the way this book is written. I'm not just gonna go with a character because there's so many of them, but all I can say is that to all the female characters who fought in the war against Titans. So this is the book that I'm showing, The Last Olympian by Rick Riordan. So there's a lot of them, from Zoe, Thalia, Annabeth, Selena, even Katie. Oh, now I remember her name. because I used to not remember her name. And of course Clarice, and probably I missed some other like female demigods. But yeah, and upon rereading, this happens to be now my top book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. So if you're looking for another book written by Paulo Coelho, other than The Alchemist, I recommend Winter Stands Alone. Now, one of the main characters here is a surviving artist, or a thriving artist. Basically, the actress, rather, I should say actress. Well, actresses are artists anyway. But yeah, the actress here is trying to make her career big, because she's kind of a little bit like an idealist, if that's like a better way to put it. But overall, the narrative is pretty interesting, intriguing. Now, we all know that most of the time Paulo Coelho's books are not like a mushy, happy, sweetie, you know what I mean? And if you're looking for something like that, then I recommend you to read Winter Stands Alone. It has such an interesting narrative, the way the situations, the things that were done, the way it was written. You can vividly see, what they were doing or what is being portrayed, and it will unleash emotions out of you. So I know someone hasn't been appearing in my videos, so here's Chumbaloo. Hello! So it's tagging time. I'm going to be tagging Gerald the Bookworm, Rereads PH, Coly Reads, and moonlightscrawls. So, if you're wondering if you weren't tagged, well, Chumbaloo, can you do the honors? Ma'am, consider yourself tagged then. So I hope you folks liked this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon somewhere down there to keep yourselves posted about my videos. I'll be putting down the links and handles of my social media accounts, so feel free to check me out there and follow me there as well. As always, thank you super much for watching. Let us continue seeking for wisdom and unleash the reader in you.